26th of October 2022, 38-year-old Thomas Grayley pleaded guilty to beating his living girlfriend to death. On the 15th of November 2021, the authorities responded to a home on Mill Road in Dorset, Ohio, on a report of an unresponsive female. When officers arrived at the residence, they found 34-year-old Nicole Booth unresponsive on the floor, with severe bruising and cigarette burns on her head, face and arms. She was transported to a local hospital in a critical condition. Thomas told deputies that they were arguing when Nicole said she didn't feel well and suddenly fell on the floor and stopped breathing. When questioned further, he refused to answer. Several days later, Nicole succumbed to her injuries, and the medical examiner's office determined that she died from blunt force trauma to her head and torso. The authorities said that she'd been beaten over a period of at least 2 months prior to her death. Upon further investigation, the authorities identified Thomas as a suspect. He and the victim reportedly shared 2 young children together. Detectives learned that Nicole and her 2 young children had endured ongoing domestic abuse for years, which went on unreported. After pleading guilty to aggravated murder, Thomas was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. Thomas has been in the Ashtabula County Jail since his arrest and is awaiting transfer to an Ohio prison. The children are reportedly being cared for by relatives. 22-year-old Case Pleasant is behind bars after being accused of killing his 73-year-old grandfather Harold Pleasant. He was found dead and wrapped in a rug beneath the back deck of his home. At 8:05 a.m. on Wednesday the 26th of October, the authorities received a call from a city sanitation crew reporting that a man had attempted to dispose of several suspicious bags in their garbage truck. Officers responded to the scene and found bags which contained bloody clothing nearby in an alley between 9th and 10th Streets in Ironton, Ohio. The authorities determined that the bags and the man who put them there came from a red house located at 1217 South 9th Street. When officers arrived at the property to perform a welfare check, they saw Case exit the premises, get into a vehicle and drive away. The authorities said they attempted to speak to him, but they said he fled. While completing a search of the residence, officers located what appeared to be a body wrapped in a rug beneath the deck in the backyard of a home. The investigators used crowbars and saws to dismantle part of the decking to gain access to and retrieve the body. The victim was identified as 73-year-old Harold Pleasant, who owns the house, and his grandson Case Pleasant, who had been living with his grandfather at the home for several years, was identified as a suspect. Case was located in Lucasville the following day, after being involved in an altercation with a woman outside a local business, after allegedly tried to steal a car. He was transported to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and he was detained. Case is charged with murder, tampering with evidence, as well as a myriad of other charges. He's currently being held at the Lawrence County Jail on a $1 million bond. Married couple Michael and Angeline Lee and the adult son Dennis are behind bars after officers found a man's body stuffed inside a basement freezer. The authorities said that on the 23rd of October, they responded to the family's home located at 7312 Shaler Court in Fairview, Tennessee, after a witness called 911 to report a murder that had taken place at the house the night before. When officers arrived, they were sent to a different location to meet the caller, and upon meeting him, they were told that a verbal altercation had begun between Michael and his brother-in-law Sean Carr the night before. The caller went on to say that when he got home from work at around 11 p.m, Michael and Angeline told him that Sean had died and that his body was in a downstairs freezer. When officers arrived at the residence, Michael met them at the door. They explained to Michael that they were there in regards to an incident that may have happened the night before. Michael let the officers in, and they went down to the basement of the home where they found 2 large white freezers. In one of the freezers, they found Sean's body, wrapped in plastic and stuffed inside. Michael reportedly admitted to officers that he killed Sean. He said he put some sort of ball into a sock and beat Sean with it. He said he then tried unsuccessfully to resuscitate him. Michael told police that he then put Sean's body into the freezer in an attempt to protect his family and threw away his makeshift weapon into the trash can. Angeline told police that Sean had been disrespecting her, and later, Michael came to her and told her he thought he had killed Sean. Angeline told police that looking back, she should have called 911. On the 25th of October, Dennis went to the Fairfield Police Department to inquire about his phone that had been taken by the police. He spoke with officers about the incident that happened to his uncle Sean, and told them that when he arrived home on the night of the incident, he heard his father Michael yelling from upstairs in the kitchen, and he went up there to see what was happening. When he walked into the kitchen, Dennis saw Michael beside a body wrapped in plastic. Michael was reportedly yelling at Dennis to help him carry Sean's body downstairs to the freezer, to which he complied. Michael, Angeline and Dennis have all been booked into the Williamson County Jail. Michael was charged with murder and is held on a $2 million bond, whereas Angeline and Dennis are charged as an accessory to murder and are each held on a $350,000 bond. They're all due to appear in court on the 3rd of November. The investigation into the matter continues.